What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Talk. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got some blazing hot takes coming from you guys on Instagram. Shout out all you guys on Instagram. We've been banging out some content out there, and you're giving you guys questions weekly. But we also got some questions for regular Sunday Talk. But how we doing today, boys?
Chilling, man.
Solid.
Chilling. Just getting these hot takes.
All right. Well, before we get into the hot takes, we're gonna tackle, the man himself, Chase, always giving us some Sunday Talk questions. Uh, First one we're gonna talk about here, as seen on the screen on the left, and some footage is gonna pop up on the screen. It's Jalen Green, one of the best high school prospects coming out from California. Shout out the area. So Jalen Green. Chase says, does Jalen Green have a point when he said he should be taken number one overall? I think it's kind of self-explanatory. It's a guy who's confident in his abilities to, score. He's confident that he is the best prospect. I think that's a mentality anyone should have. I don't even care if you're Luca Garza, who's projected to go in the second round. So I'll hand it off to you, Jose. What do you think about this take?
Yeah, I don't think it's that hot of a take. I mean, he's a great prospect. I mean, 3-level scorer, dominated the G League at only 19 years old. And he's been ranked as number one shooting guard in this class for a while. I mean, obviously we've got a lot of similar build guys at the top now with Cade and Jalen Suggs, the other Jalen. But yeah, I don't see why he shouldn't be taken number one. I don't think he will, but there's definitely a case for it.
Exactly. Be confident in your abilities. So Carson, what else do you have to add?
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's definitely a massive, massive case. I think, there's no definitive number one pick in this draft because I think it really is that top heavy. I think, Green, Cade and then Mobley. I think, all three, you could have arguments for all three depending on, what exactly you're looking for, what type of player, if you're valuing defense more offense for whatever. There's arguments for all three of them. They're all super extremely talented and all have star potential. But Green might just have the most. I mean, he might be I kind of look at him as the Trey Lance, of this draft, a guy that super successful, but I think a lot of people were just kind of thrown off just by the, the uncertainty and the different, path that they took to the draft. And I think that might throw off, some people, but the talent is, top tier talent, nonetheless, number one pick talent for sure. And he could come in averaging 20 points already. He's that athletic. He's got the shot. He's got a nice touch. He already put up, 18 points in the G League. Like you said, Jose, still a really, really competitive and solid league. He's already getting buckets against grown men that, are borderline NBA players. So I definitely makes a nice case for number one pick.
Love that Trey Lance comparison, by the way. But yeah,
Of course you do.
all right.
Yeah. Gotta shout out the boy, man.
I think it's gonna pave the way also for other young guys coming up to take that step into the G League and not take the college route.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're allowing college athletes to get paid now off their likeness, but with the G League, this is a set salary. You are guaranteed once you sign that contract to make, $500K or whatever it is. I mean, depending on how top of a prospect you are. But I mean, we've seen a couple guys do it. Baisley, I think, was the last one to do it. Darius Baisley.
Yeah, he did an internship, I think, with Under Armour or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's a solid NBA player.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like you said, I mean, a guy who just decommitted from Michigan State, the projected next Kevin Durant in Amani Bates in the 2022 class. He's a guy I expect, maybe he goes to that new overtime league that's been talking about. A lot of new guys up there. So obviously, we got Kuminga and Green, guys who are both going to end up in the top 10 of this draft. So
real quick, I just want to mention, I like that there are a lot more outlets and ways to get to the league than just, just going college straight to the NBA. I like more diversity, makes scouts, scout a little bit harder. It's nice, you're not boxed in the one set path. There's a lot of different ways to get to the league.
Yeah. Like LaMelo and RJ Hampton both came from overseas teams this last year. So,
Yep.
All right. So we'll move on. The next one, our last Sunday Talk regular question. Chase is asking us, we got basketball going on in the Olympics right now. Obviously, the U.S. has been on blast for their 0-2 start. Now 1-2 after their win versus Argentina. as they head their way to Japan to compete in the Olympics. But Chase is asking if he thinks the NBA should adopt some of the FIBA rules in officiating. As you can see in some clips that we're throwing on the screen, um, there's been some problems, guys trying to go for fouls and stuff that just aren't working for them. Like people like Trey Young or James Harden would struggle if they're on this Olympic team because their game wouldn't be able to work. So I'm going to start with you, Carson. What do you think about this FIBA rules and officiating being implemented?
Yeah, I got two things real quick. First of all, shout out Chase. He like backpacked, a lot of the questions and a lot of the hot takes too. We love you, bro. Second of all, I don't think Trey and Harden would necessarily struggle. I think they're just so good offensively. Like they would have to work a lot harder to get their buckets, which I think, is definitely a really valid argument on why the NBA should adopt some rules. I mean, you have the 5 foul limit, less likely to blow the whistle on like 50-50 calls. So I think it'd be like the ultimate test to like the really elite skill set and like the skill level of today's like current generation and add like a much more like defensive friendly environment, to today's like offensive driven game. So like, I mean, would I like to see it? Like, I think so. I mean, I'm still a little like on the fence about it, but I think I'm definitely leaning towards like, I would like to see it just because, the competitiveness would increase, definitely during the regular season for sure, which definitely needs at least a couple changes just because it was such a heinous amount of blowouts this last regular season. I think it just would be sick to push these offensively like skilled geniuses. I think push them a little bit harder, just adding, having them just adjust a little bit to not getting the same amount of foul calls and whatnot. I mean, we're kind of seeing it a little bit in the finals. I mean, these guys are just clawing for baskets. I mean, like the tough shot making is just like on full display. And I think we just get a lot more of that with some of these FIBA rules added in.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
I think they've got to also just adopt kind of the let the boys play type of mentality. Like, don't be so soft on some of these calls, and also just be more consistent with the calls when you are going to call it. Like if you're going to, make that precedent early in the game that you're going to start calling, hand checks or whatever, or like the Trey Young, like pushing himself into a defender, like, okay, now you have to do that for the rest of the game. So I think consistency is a big thing. I like the 5 foul thing. Keeps things like happening. The other day where Devin Booker got like 8 fouls in a game, but yeah, I mean they can definitely adopt some stuff. Because right now for Team USA, like sometimes they look lost out there running ISOs, and they're looking for foul calls that they would normally get in the NBA because of like superstar treatment or whatever. But they're not getting that out there.
Hey,
They most certainly are not getting that out there.
Shout out these Europeans though. They always be calling them soft, but they're the ones, they're going out there. I mean, Aussies aren't Europeans, but still, they dogging out there. That's a team. That's a team though. I mean, I think next year, they get Josh Giddey, a guy that's gonna be coming out of the draft. I think it's gonna be a good prospect from Australia. They got some other solid guys. I think that's a really good team going forward. I can't remember. Do they have like a really good and Team Canada? I know they failed to make it, but in the Olympics, but that's a team.
Canada on paper has a really good team.
Jamal Murray, Shea Gilgeous, Alexander, Wiggins, Dort, absolute goat. All right,
yeah, Dort. I mean, that's a really solid like 5 right there. RJ.
All right. Yeah. So now we're gonna hop into these hot takes. Can't go wrong with them. I want Iguodala type of stuff. You know what we doing. So we're gonna start off. We going top to bottom. We got our boy Jose, obviously here on the podcast. He says Ben Simmons gonna be out of the league in 3 years or less. I want to hear what you guys say about this, Jose, before we tackle it. I know Carson used to be a lover of Ben Simmons, but now he's switching sides. So I'll let Jose go first.
Look, as much as I want to root for Ben Simmons, he's really in a bad place right now. It's not looking good. I don't really know, how clear his head is right now, if he really wants it badly enough. I know he took like a break from the Olympics this year to focus on himself or some shit. I don't know. But like, he's got to get it together, bro. Even if he does not get a jump shot, like, you are too skilled of a basketball player to be, not only a liability, but like to be having negative production on the court. Like you have to at least produce if you're not scoring if you're not making jump shots, like why are you passing out of shots at the rim? Why are you not taking on, the mismatch every time? Like you're 6'10", you've got to be able to like capitalize on those opportunities. I mean, he's young, he's athletic, he can jump out the gym. He's got everything there, but he's really just got to figure it out for himself. And if he doesn't figure it out like soon, his trade value is definitely going down, and I can see him like out the league pretty quick.
Carson?
I think he's just like way too damn talented to, be out of the league because I mean it takes like you have to be like, a 14th, 15th man. I mean, I don't think he can, stoop down to that where it's so bad that he's, getting played out of the league. But I mean, I see your point. I think, not out of the league, but I think he just needs to go to a team where he's kind of like essentially out of the league. Like go to a team like, the Magic or like some team that just is, pretty irrelevant right now. Just kind of let him go, just play out. I think that's really just the best thing for him. He just needs to like play out whatever's going on with him, mentally. I think it's, in a non-hectic, non-pressure environment. I mean, Philly, it's tough, man. You're under scrutiny 24/7, and especially with, how bad he played in the playoffs last year. You're going to hear a lot of it. I think he just needs to, he needs like his Batman moment where he goes, trains, he's out of society for like 2 years. He's on like the Magic or something. And then he comes back, he's on a contender. I really just want to see him with his own team and he's able to play out of, his funk or whatnot. I think he's just way too damn talented. The defense alone, I think is just, too valuable to have him out of the league. And it's just sad because, I mean, he doesn't even need the shot. I think he could be, he's shown he can, he's great, both hands finishing around the basket. And like I said, way too damn talented to be out. But he needs to change his scenery. That's for damn sure.
I mean, just to talk about the shot, he's never going to develop a jump shot. I don't care.
I think that's like, if you're still waiting on that, it's like, grow up, man.
In a situation like, remember a couple off seasons ago when they had all this big man craze that all of them when we start shooting jump shots, like Andre Drummond was going to be like a 40% 3-point shooter, and so was Dwight Howard. None of those MFs ever developed a jump shot. It's not going to happen with Ben Simmons. It's too late in his career at this point. And I feel like the second he goes like 1 for 10 in a game, shooting like mid range and threes, like he'll never shoot again. And it's as sad as it sees. I mean, I don't think he'd be out of the league, but I don't think he's going to be considered a star in 2 years anymore. Even as good as he is on defense, I don't see it anymore. I feel like,
but he's not going to stoop to the point where he's going to be out of the league.
Yeah, but I don't think
agree with his value is plummeting it's going down every day.
Like he's got to play center now. I think that needs to be his role. He needs to learn how to be a good rebounder and all that stuff. But like, no, like he's not a top point guard anymore. Don't put him ahead of De'Aaron Fox or Jamal Murray or any of those guys. Like, no. He's good on defense.
I think
it's about it at this point.
Yeah, I think what he needs is just somebody that can really instill confidence in him, whether it be, a secondary star or a coach. Because, the difference between him and Giannis, a guy that has a pretty a similar archetype, mold as Ben Simmons, definitely not the same player, but play style and mold of player. Giannis was always kind of groomed to be that guy for the Bucks. The coaches always believed in him. They handed him the keys on early. They were like, "You're going to be our guy, and we're going to build around you, to fit your play style. We're going to get you the secondary star. We're going to get you, other shit." And Ben Simmons hasn't really had that. I mean, he's kind of had to do it the other way. He's kind of had to adapt to playing next to Joel Embiid, playing, with not a lot of spacing. So I think that's really what he needs. He needs his own team, but not only his own team, like a team that will buy in on him. And I don't know if there's a team out there that's willing to do that for him now. It's kind of late.
You like the Malcolm Brogdon?
It's kind of late for them.
Accepted it. Should have taken the Malcolm.
I would like to see him get the keys, but I think at this point he should be, probably like the third, fourth, fifth best, player on a decent team.
Yeah, and then kind of going back, this is kind of sidetracking a little bit, but we don't have really a lot of NBA questions here. And you guys mentioned Giannis Antetokounmpo, a guy who at the time we're recording this, and the guy you guys will see this, they're up 3-2 on the Phoenix Suns, and has one of the best resumes for a young player in the league, a 26-year-old, a 2-time MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. And he's got a chance to close it out in Milwaukee on Tuesday. I want to know what you guys think. I saw a take on Twitter by StatMuse. Shout out that StatMuse always give me some good stats. But do you think Giannis is a top 5 power forward, maybe even second best power forward of all time, if he wins this finals?
No, no,
Off
it's
the
way
rip, no.
it's way too early for that. It's too early.
I mean, let's think about it. Karl Malone, he's got the same amount of MVPs at him.
Tim
Got more
Duncan.
depoys. Tim Duncan's ahead of him. No doubt. No doubt. Dirk
Yeah.
Nowitzki. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki, his championship will ever for be more important, but he's got 2 MVP. Sorry, Karl Malone only has 1. Giannis has 2. So Giannis hasn't beaten both MVPs. He's got beaten depoys. I mean, like skill set wise, I think he's up there in top 5.
KG.
No, but I think if Giannis wins this, it's like
I can
he
see
got
top
one on
5.
his own.
I can see
Yeah,
top 5.
I'm not
And
ready
I
for
think the first ballot Hall of Famer, easy, no doubt.
And if he wins a couple more rings, it has a good extended career, can adapt his game, into his late age and not rely a ton on athleticism. I can definitely see him going down as like, the number 1, at least the number 1 of our generation, because the old heads are never gonna let go. Like, oh, y'all don't know about Tim Duncan, boy. Like, y'all don't know about Dirk. Like, but yeah, definitely the number 1 of our generation for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just hard. I mean, I think it really I still put Dirk because Dirk, essentially, won 1 championship and then, got his team all the way to, within 2 games of 106. It just more time. I mean, I think Giannis has really shown a lot of, it's crazy because you thought, he was already so good. You thought he kind of capped out. And I think he even went up another slight level in these finals. His shot selection is getting much better. He's not taking as many, kind of BS threes. The defense. I mean, some of the most famous plays from the series are going to be his defensive plays. Like that input is just ridiculous. And
Lob last night.
Lob, man. I mean, I can see it. His resume is pretty amazing. I think it could put him arguably top 3, but yeah, I'm not ready for a top 2 yet. I think Dirk, Tim, it's too early. But the way he's going, man, yeah, easily. He's that resume is that good, man.
Well, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I kind of going back. I mean, kind of criticizing myself here, saying Dirk had one of the best championships of all time. I mean, even though they were injured, Giannis was able to lead his team to beat the team that was favored to win by minus 240 in the Eastern Conference in the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, sure they didn't have Dinwiddie, sure they didn't have Irving, but they have 2 top 10 guys, arguably 2 top 5 when they're at the best of their game, and Harden and Durant on their team. I mean, super impressive.
Not like a 25% Harden.
I know, but still, I mean,
the Nets were still favored though, even with that.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, sure, it's betting, but still, this was a team that was playing really great basketball. Even guys like Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, stepping up at the end of the year. But yeah,
we'll just kind of disrespectful that they were favored, to be honest.
Oh no, yeah.
No, it really is. It should the Bucks should have been fair because I mean we saw those the first 2 games. I mean it was when they had 2 stars, when they had Kyrie and KD, it was it was bad. It was really bad.
Right.
But I think the Giannis playing now, I think is that series. It kind of his mentality kind of switched. So I think if they were rematching in next season, I think I wouldn't expect the same blowouts. I think Giannis has definitely improved a little bit from that series. I think he's grown a lot for sure.
Exactly. But no, I mean we could talk about this all day. So we're just gonna move on to the next one. Sticking with the same stuff. 620 Dom. He says Suns in 7. I mean, Suns got to win 2 games in a row. Got to go into Milwaukee, an environment they haven't played well in, and they got to go back to Phoenix and win. It's really going to be a tough one, but I think it's all going to be on the back. Can they see their secondary? I mean, really their secondary guys this series now at this point in DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul come back and be the guys they've been all playoffs. What do we think here? How realistic do you think Suns in 7 is?
I'll take it. I'll take it top. I think, I mean, obviously, can certainly happen. I think, obviously, the Bucks taking the last 2 games, they have a lot of momentum. But I mean, the Suns still kept it really close. I mean, you look at game 4, I mean, they were in Milwaukee. They almost stole that game when, Booker was really the only one that showed up at all offensively. I mean, you didn't even get 10 points with Ayton. Chris Paul looked terrible. I mean, it was like he couldn't even dribble at sometimes. And even with that, with Booker as their only offensive piece, they still kept it close. And then even game 5, it's like with all 3 guys, which hardly ever happens for the Bucks, like Drew, Middleton, and Giannis, all playing like the most elite version of themselves. Even with all 3 of them, stepping up to the plate, they still, kept it really close and still came down to the wire. So I think you have to take that in consideration, but it really just does look like the Bucks, like that getting that game 5 is so crucial. And they're going back home. It's gonna be really, really tough, but it is definitely reasonable. It's just Paul and Ayton have to be on at all times. Like whatever's going on with CP with his hand or whatnot, I just hope that he's able to push through that, because he has to. Like he has to come through if they're going to do it in 7, because the Bucks are riding high right now.
Yeah, CP is really that X factor, and he's kind of been falling apart these last few games. I mean, a guy that's normally known for taking care of the ball has been averaging like 5-6 turnovers a game, and that's partly due to the defensive scheme implemented by Coach Bud, but also just Drew Holiday's insane defense, and just team impact overall. I mean, he had a great game last night, shot amazing, played great defense on Chris Paul. But even then, the Suns were still in it. Yeah, even then the Suns were still in it up until that last like minute. So it's definitely close, much closer than the last 3 games have shown. Obviously the Bucks won 3 in a row, but the Suns are still in it. They're definitely not out. We've seen bigger comebacks before, and obviously we know Booker's gonna play his heart out, and Chris Paul is gonna give it his all.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. That Milwaukee crowd though, because all their guys, the Bucks besides Giannis have all been like super, hit or miss. Really, like you're not really sure what you're gonna get. But if they're ever gonna play like they usually do up to par with how they should be playing, it's gonna be at home. So it's gonna.
I don't know which storyline I like better. The Bucks win 4 in a row after Giannis comes back from the injury, or the Suns come back to win in 7.
I like both, man. I want to see either CP or Giannis get a ring. I would be equally happy.
Yeah, I'm mutually content. I feel like I'm starting to sway towards Giannis now. I saw a video of like his MVP speech of him getting all sad. To me.
Yeah, it's hard not to root for Giannis, man. He just seems like a hella wholesome. And he chose to stay in Milwaukee, signed the Supermax. Could have easily been balling out with Luka. So he's earned a lot of respect for sure, and it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we gotta pray Chris Middleton. If the Suns gonna win, Chris Middleton can't turn into prime MJ in 1 quarter next game, because that man is fucking different when he's playing on his best game. God.
Oh yeah,
I know, man.
That guy's crazy.
Yeah, like when he's on, man, it's scary. He just goes into these you just feel like he's never gonna miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll wrap it up with the last. For the last of our NBA questions. Hot takes, and we got some more football ones. But we got Chase coming in saying the Warriors will win the championship next year. I'll take the reins on this one in the beginning. They got to make a trade. If they don't trade those picks, they don't trade with Wiseman and Wiggins, they're not going to win the championship. I mean, as simple as it is, they're not going to have young guys that are going to come in and going to turn around. I mean, I know we got Clay back. Clay's not going to be the Clay that we love him to be. He's not going to be the defensive monster because he's not going to have that lateral quickness with an Achilles injury coming right off the bat that he used to have. I mean, we need to have, hopefully, I think we got bird rights on Kelly Oubre, maybe throw him in a sign and trade. I would love to see us get someone like Lillard, or even if it's just Pascal Siakam, a guy I think that could play well as a 3rd star in our team. If we don't do the trade, there's no championship chance. We'll make the playoffs, but there's no championship chance.
Nah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, they're a few years removed from like the playoffs even. Even if they do make a trade for a Siakam or someone, I don't know if they're necessarily going to have that, championship locked in the first year. It's definitely going to take them, multiple seasons to gel. Obviously, Curry's got the pedigree, Draymond's got the pedigree, even Clay, and you've got one of the best coaches in the league. But I don't see it anymore. I feel like this Warriors, dynasties is just over, man. Like there's definitely still gonna be good, but I don't think we're gonna see them, win championships like that anymore.
Man, Carson, I got to hear what you got to say then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, I definitely like, sadly, I think I do agree with Jose. It's like, because, even if the Warriors do get back to, somewhat of their championship form, you still have some really, really good teams to get through. I mean, it's like do you pick them over a healthy Lakers team? The Nets are going to come back probably even stronger next year. You got the Nuggets with Murray coming back. The Bucks, if the Bucks, end up winning this championship, they're going to be hungry to, defend their title. So there's a lot of stiff competition, even if the Warriors do come back and get to that championship level, which, they've all been, saying they will be, this whole offseason. I think, Liam, you made a good point. And I also agree with. It's like, I think you got to make the trade. I think your ceiling as a championship contender only happens when you make that trade. Because I think, the floor is like, you use your 2 picks, you keep Wiseman. Let's say you get like, 7th and 8th rotation guys with the 7th pick and the 14th pick. I think with those 2 new guys, maybe like Cam Johnson like types or whatnot, get those 2 guys, keep Wiseman. I think it's like I can count on our 3 stars to play well in the playoffs, but I'm just not really sure if the other young, because the rest of our roster is super young, not as experienced, unlike our championship winners, which had a plethora of veteran amazing supporting cast. I just think, like Jose said, it'll just take a while for a couple years for those guys to really gel and kind of catch up to the championship pedigree that our 3 guys have. So will win. It's pretty bold. That's pretty hot, but they should definitely at least be in championship contention. We should be like in a top 5 or like at worst like a top 7 bubble of teams that could potentially win a championship. I think just based on Curry and Clay alone and Draymond, just those 3 alone.
I think we just got to see it as, Bob Myers has a lot of pressure on this offseason. He's got to think to himself, is he confident that they can go out and get a star that can change him around? They have a chance for the finals. Or does he think, man, we're going to stick with the 7th and 14th pick because who knows next time we're going to have the ability to have 2 picks in the lottery. We go out there, we get guys like Davion Mitchell. We get another guy that we think has promise, and we just build up the next generation of this team. So it's a lot of pressure, especially, as a general manager in that position. But, I put faith that we are able to build a roster that was championship quality. From the bottom, I mean, obviously we added Kevin Durant, but everyone else is really homegrown talent. So they'll make noise next year, though, no matter
Please
what.
trade Wiseman. Please trade Wiseman for the sake of his career. Trade him.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I want to see Wiseman 2 picks. Let's get someone that's borderline to maybe even an all-star, and let's go top heavy.
All right, now we got some hot ones. We're going over the football. We're starting off with Chase at the top. You think Zach Wilson will be a bust? A guy who I've seen a lot of people actually say this about, but I just want to hear from you guys before I say anything. Carson, take it away.
All right. Well, with Wilson, I mean, I think, the talent-wise, it's going to be hard for him to be a bust just because I think the insane arm talent and playmaking is there, from what he was doing at BYU and just, his pro days and stuff. I mean, the arm talent, it's hard to miss, man. It's pretty crazy. But with that being said, he is like in the most, like one of the most susceptible like situations in the NFL to like bust as a QB. And even though like I believe, Saleh can give this team some heart and hopefully make them slightly more competitive and turn the culture around a bit. I think talent wise, it's just still like a lackluster team. It's just gonna it's gonna make it hard on him to succeed in his first couple years in his current situation compared to the other rookie QB destinations like SF, Chicago, New England. It's just going to be a lot tougher for him to succeed just because I don't think his team's as good as the other rookie QB teams besides Jacksonville. So
Yeah.
Jose?
Yeah, I mean, being a bust has a lot to do with your landing spot, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if the team doesn't know how to develop you, or have a scheme that fits your play style, you're not going to succeed. And especially the Jets, who have not made the playoffs since it feels like has it been a decade, like 2011, 2010?
When Mark Sanchez was leading those
Yeah,
boys.
like butt fumble era.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, and Darnold, a guy that was super talented coming out. I mean, a lot of people argued for him to be number one even.
Shout out Colin.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look at how his time fared in New York. It's just a super tough spot to play in. You've really got to have, different type of grit, different type of mentality going into that. And I don't know if Zach Wilson's, built for that. I always think about the picture of him on draft night next to the other QBs. Is the memes is like, this league is going to eat this man up. And I mean, it's a tough division. Like,
Yeah.
three really good teams in that division. Even New England, like, you cannot sleep on New England. Hot take, building off of this hot take, Mac Jones will be a better career quarterback than Zach Wilson.
I think so. I think he's got the greatest coach behind him, so you can't go wrong there. And shout out Josh McDaniels, a super good offensive mind. So he's got everything set up for him.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, I mean, in terms of Zach Wilson thing, I mean, you can see it's a little bit concerning. Looking at his 2018, his freshman year at BYU, 12 and 3 on his TD to interception ratio. Nothing too jumping out the screen at you. And then really kind of had a bad year in 2019. 11 and 9 on his touchdown interception ratio, and then finally broke out in 2020. In his real testament game when he played Coastal Carolina, he played well, but a lot of people put that thing on the QB. He wasn't able to bring his team to the victory that game. Are people gonna? Is that why people saw him a certain way? But like you said, he has crazy arm talent. We saw the pro day. I mean, I did want him to go to the Niners if he was going to fall under any circumstance. But like you said, it's situation based. I mean, sure, there's guys like Jamarcus Russell that were just not flat out to play football at the next level. But I mean, he doesn't have a super talented wide receiving core anyway. I mean, we know Elijah Moore's a guy that's showing a lot of promise apparently early in camp. But and obviously Corey Davis. But really going to have to, Mekhi Becton, Elijah Bear Tucker, they got to protect this guy because they wanted to be the franchise quarterback, because it hurts your team drastically if you miss on a franchise quarterback, because you got to spend another top pick on a quarterback when you just did. So interesting take. I mean, I think there's got some truth to it, but at the same time, you got to see it through, my boy. So
yeah, give him a couple of years and then we'll see.
Exactly. And we got to see what Sam Darnold does in Carolina. Someone said, I heard a hot take.
I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. I mean, you guys know, I've said it a few times. Like, I'm looking forward to the Panthers this year.
Yeah. I heard someone hot take said he was going to win MVP. I was like, you smoking a pack. But now we'll move on. Again, Carson I's team. But here on the football side, 620 Dom. He thinks the Niners are going to go 12-5 and beat the Bucks in the playoffs at one point and beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Woo! Super hot take coming out the fact that, we all were talking about the Rams winning the division. So I'll start it off with here, Carson. What do you guys say about your Niners?
Man, I hope so. This would be the dream, bro. I mean, we would be out boozing, celebrating. That'd be fantastic. But I mean, it's reasonable, man. I mean, not just saying that from like a biased fan perspective. I mean, we're only 2 years removed from, all like being a couple plays away from winning the Super Bowl anyway, with, a very similar roster. I mean, not like we lost, too many guys. We still got our, Bosa's coming back. We still got our guy Kittle. Our, Trent Williams is an addition that we didn't have on the Super Bowl team. Our defense is still raw. I think, the loss of Saleh might bring our defense back, just a tad maybe, but I think, Shanahan's probably made made it really important to, implement the same similar schemes, minus, Saleh's presence. And I just don't see it, too far-fetched, just because we were in the Super Bowl only a couple of years ago. And I think if, best case scenario, if Lance turns out to be that guy and he can really push us to the next level offensively, man, because we have all the talent in the world. We have a championship DNA. We have a championship roster built already. And it's just going to come down to, QB play, honestly, and health, which we saw last year. So
health is huge.
Yeah.
Looking at the schedule, All right, week 1 in Detroit, that's a dub. Week 2 in Philly, that's probably a dub. Week 3 against Green Bay,
No Aaron Rodgers, dub.
yeah, without it's at home too. That's probably a
Borderline
dub.
dub.
Week
It could go
4,
either way, you know.
yeah. Week 4, at home against Seattle.
Close.
I'll give you all the benefit of the doubt on that one.
But still, I
Um,
see it going. I go in their way. So either like
yeah.
I look at all the division games as like a 50-50.
I say 2-2 or 3-1 to begin the year.
Yeah. Week 5 in Arizona,
I give it to
toss up,
Arizona.
toss up. Yeah. Week 7 at home against the Colts. I'd say that's a dub.
Yeah,
Week 8 in Chicago, probably a dub.
we don't know.
Week
Chicago
9,
like, but yeah,
yeah. Week 9 against Arizona at home this time.
we'll split. So
Yeah, we'll split those. Week 10 at home against the Rams. I'll give you all the dub because it's at home.
Hey, but then from here down, I mean, these are 2, 4, 6.
Yeah,
These are
Jags,
eight
Vikings,
potential
Seahawks,
wins right here.
Bengals, Falcons, Titans, and finish Texans, and then last week Rams. Yeah, you've got a few like really bad teams like to get y'all's momentum going for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll see. I mean, hey, in that division, anyone could go 12-5 and make the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised with any of the squads. Hopefully it's the Niners though. Hopefully it's our squad.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep moving though. We'll keep pushing. We go going back to Chase, of course. Talk about his boy T.J. Watt, and we'll kind of throw us in together with his other Steelers takes. So, first one, he's saying Steelers going to be AFC North champions. Surprise, because people think the Ravens and the Browns are much better, and thinking that T.J. Watt should have won DPOY the last 2 years. I'll hand it off to Jose here. What you think?
no. I don't agree. The Steelers going to win the division at all. Like I would take the Ravens over them right now. I would take the Browns over them right now.
Hey, Bengals are nice though.
And the Bengals are looking nice. Granted, it's the Bengals, but I don't know, man. I mean, Roethlisberger's a year older. I'm sure he's been eating as many salads as he can, but that don't mean you're going to win 13 games. I mean, we saw how badly they fell apart last year at the end. Their fluky like 10 win streak. Was it 10 or 9?
It was 11, I almost think.
It was 11?
I think it was pretty big.
It was pretty big. It was pretty big.
Lost to the Bills, pretty obvious.
Yeah, but then they just fucking blew it. Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see them winning the division at all.
And then TJ Watt, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think he could have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Not the last 2 though. I think maybe last year, but
yeah,
Stephon had a lockdown season 2 years ago.
Yeah,
but no,
who won last year? Aaron Donald.
Yeah, no surprise.
I mean, yeah, you can never vote against Aaron Donald. I mean, if he's gonna lose it to someone, it's gonna be Aaron Donald.
He deserves more recognition, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Carson.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's going to be really, really hard for the Steelers to win the AFC North just because, I mean, like you said, I mean, the Ravens and Browns are 2 Super Bowl contenders that, should be better. I mean, just the Steelers have way more. They already have way more dysfunction when it comes to, the bad O-line play, the uncertainty with Big Ben. I mean, yeah, this should be, the 3rd best team in this division. It's gonna be really hard. I think it's up to just injuries on the other teams, honestly, and just they'd be healthier. And then with TJ Watt, yeah, it's just a toss-up, man, because all 3 of them had fantastic defensive seasons.
Hey, but my hot take for the Steelers, Najee Harris is going to have an Ezekiel Elliott type running back rookie season. I think he's got a good chance if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play out of his mind to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
I think he's got everything lined up for him. But
y'all drafting him? Y'all taking him in the for fantasy?
Depends who else is there.
Okay, what's his ADP right now? What's his ADP?
It's in the 2nd round. He's like in that Cam Akers, Joe Mixon range.
You taking Clyde over him?
Yeah, I think so. I think Clyde's
You taking Dobbins over him?
No.
Nah.
Dobbins.
Okay.
Such a weird. Gus Edwards going to steal a bunch of
I would
carries.
take
Yeah,
Najee
I like
over
Edwards.
Sanders, Dobbins, Jacobs, like that kind of Montgomery, like that whole tier.
Yeah. All right. But we're going to move on to our last take. I think this is the hottest take on this one. It's my coworker Dylan, by the way. He thinks Hurts is going to lead the Eagles to an 11-6 record and will finish viewed as a top 8 quarterback in the NFL. Carson, I'll hand it off to you on this one. What you guys say?
Well, I'm assuming top 8, like fantasy. Are we talking fantasy wise or real?
Fantasy
Nah.
wise, like he'll insert himself into like the top like 10 conversation.
That echelon, like that Dak Prescott range.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, I'll just do both because I think top 8 fantasy wise, very, very valid argument. I mean,
Very possible.
that's not a hot take at all. I think that's actually a really good take because, like, I mean, just the rushing ability alone, I mean, that adds so much fantasy value that there's really only a select group of quarterbacks that are really offering as that rushing ability that Hurts has. Obviously the offense, not as talented as some of the other mobile QBs, but just that mobility alone, I think will should put him up in the top 8, the top 10 QB. And then real life wise, I mean, I think he has the potential. It's just going to be hard. Like I said, with the lack of true really like receiving talent around. But I think he has the ability, man. I want to see it get done. As for the 11-6, nah, no way. I mean, let's just do a little exercise. Let's take a look at their schedule. I mean, Falcons. Could see the Falcons maybe choking it, but should be a dub. Niners dub. All the division games, kind of like the the NFC West, should be viewed as maybe like a 50-50. With that being said, they should be the worst team in the division talent wise. Panthers, Chiefs no, Bucks no, Chargers no, Saints no, and then I'd honestly see the football team and potentially the Giants beating them. I really only see like the Lions, the Raiders, as like 2 should be like guaranteed wins.
Like, I mean, Devontae Smith could very well go out there and have 1,100 yards next year. No, I would not be like, what the hell? But like, Jalen Reagor going to go off or something. Or like, I mean, I love Dallas Goedert, by the way, too. But like, and the old line's never healthy. And then on top of that, they have an aging pass rush. I mean, Derek Barnett's never really turned into anything special. Brandon Graham, I think, got an extension, but like, he's getting on the other side. Fletcher Cox is far removed from being viewed as the second best defensive tackle in the league anymore. That honor is either Chris Jones or DeForest Buckner, in my opinion. Their linebacking core sucks. And I mean, did they address? No, they addressed safety. Actually,
Slay. They got Slay last year. No,
they had Slay, but I forgot who else they. I feel like
they got Anthony Harris from the Vikings.
Oh yeah, I mean that'd be a good addition, but like, man, I don't know. It's
the Eagles.
They're freaking Nick Sirianni or whatever. He's got to show that he's gonna ball out.
Yeah, they're just not there yet talent wise to get to 11-6. They're just not there yet.
Yeah,
I think. I love Hurts though. I think he's got dog in him. I think
me too. I like Hurts a lot.
I want to see him I want to see him pan out more than Tua, to be honest. Like I know Carson might hate that for me saying that.
Dude, they can both succeed.
Yeah, why can't they both?
Interests. I want them to both succeed. I want them both.
I'd rather have like Hurts be the better guy because like I don't know, like all the stuff like him, like
a wise man once said, "They act like two legends cannot coexist."
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
But I can see that. Like, I mean, Hurts already. I mean, he's shown, he's shown he's been better than Tua so far. So he's got the leg up right now, and I think he could easily keep it going forward.
Yeah. As much as I hate the Eagles, I really want to see Hurts succeed.
Yeah.
And I think like this next season is gonna like do that perfectly. Like the Eagles are gonna be bad, but Hurts should be good.
Hey.
Yeah, he'll be like Watson, like Watson's rookie year or something,
Yeah.
Eagles Cowboys going to be a gun fest. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. I'm so hyped. I'm like beyond hyped to see like finally like 2 like fun teams. Like even though the Eagles are bad, like it'll be a fun rivalry,
Yeah, they're like arcade teams. They're like Madden teams.
Exactly.
Just like
his cards in Madden should be insane next year.
Oh yeah. No, ridiculous. You know, we gotta get the read options out there. Him and Miles Sanders, that'll be some fun stuff. But no, otherwise, that concludes today's Sunday talk. A very eventful one. Like we said, always appreciate the questions. You guys bringing in some banger content for us. But no, who knows what we're bringing you guys later this week? Might have another redraft. Might be throwing something out there, some wild card stuff. You know,
Yeah, we don't even know.
we don't even know. We haven't even talked about it, to be honest. So we'll have something up if it works. We got more Instagram content coming out. New series actually on the way on our Instagram. Something a little twist on something that we've done before. So otherwise, this Coast to Coast podcast. Can't see us this time, but we're signing out. Peace.
Peace.